This is very tough for me today, but to have this Marine next to me today. Today, this Marine standing behind me, his name is Alex. He's a corporal. I met him in Japan. He's from Massachusetts. Today, his name is Nick. I don't know how that happened, but I need this today. Because 8 years ago today is when it happened. Today. I was called to the Yarmouth Police Station, where I've been a police officer for 38 years, and Sergeant Frank Hennessy and others gave me the most horrific, gut-wrenching, and devastating news that my son had been killed while going to the aid of his brother Marines during a combat operation in southern Afghanistan. In a second, all of my horrible nightmares had come true. After picking myself off the floor and composing myself the best I could, I was driven home and did the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. A group of Marines, a chaplain that's right here with us today, and fellow police officers, many of them are here with us today, walked me to my front door. And then I asked them to wait outside because it was my job to tell my family. So I walked to the front door and I looked through the front door and I saw Nick's mom, Lisa, in the kitchen. I saw Nick's brother, Alex, was in the dining room laughing and joking with a bunch of his friends. And his twin sisters, who were only 15, Elizabeth and Ashlyn, were in the family room listening to music. The whole family was together and having fun. And I purposely waited for a few seconds to capture that moment, because I knew that once I went inside, our lives would change forever. And then I did the best I could, and I walked in that door, and I broke the news, and I broke their hearts. Nick's life was one of immense promise, tragically ended too soon, at age 21. A short time after, I found a recruiter's card that they fill out, and when Nick was 17, he was asked, "Why do you want to join the Marine Corps?" And Nick wrote this down. "Some people have told me that now is the worst time to join the military, and I tell them there is no better. Earning the title of Marine will be the greatest achievement of my life. Serving my country, protecting its people, and upholding freedom is why I joined the Marine Corps." And as you heard, when he last spoke to us 2 weeks before he was killed, he said, "Don't worry about me, Mom, I'm living the dream." His short life was not without purpose, and he fulfilled his biggest dream. And like so many of our servicemen and women, Nick was a peacemaker who chose to make a difference by serving, protecting people all over the world. His love for family and friends, his hometown, the people of Cape Cod, and now the free people, millions of them, in Iraq and Afghanistan, drove him to fight for freedom. And like the thousands of others who bravely served our country, including many of you who are here today, and you've made it home to live your dream, Nick was an American hero, brave and proud, and loyal to the principles of freedom and the dream of peace. He was in many ways just like his fallen brothers and sisters with ties to Cape Cod, who went off to war and did not return. Wayne, ready? The Cape Cod Fallen 14, United States Army Staff Sergeant Alicia A. Burchett of Mashpee. United States Army Private First Class Paul E. Conlon of Mashpee. United States Navy Captain Gerald F. DeConto of Sandwich. United States Army Sergeant Alexander H. Fuller of Barnstable. United States Army Sergeant Matthew R. Gallagher of Falmouth. United States Navy SEAL Kevin A. Houston of Barnstable. United States Marine Captain Eric A. Jones of Mashpee. United States Marine Private First Class Daniel A.C. McGuire of Mashpee. United States Army Sergeant Matthew A. Pacino of Bourne. United States Army Private First Class Clinton E. Springer II of Bourne. United States Army Sergeant Zachary D. Tellier of Falmouth. United States Army Sergeant Mark R. Vecchione of Eastham. United States Navy Commander Francis T. Williams of Sandwich. And United States Marine Corporal Nicholas G. Exaros of Yarmouth. These are our fallen sons and daughters of Cape Cod. And they will be forever remembered in our hearts and permanently etched in glass with the names of 200 other young men and women from Massachusetts at our beautiful Massachusetts, Iraq, and Afghanistan Fallen Heroes Monument overlooking historic Boston Harbor, where our American freedom was won. Each of them now have a part of the history of the world. They leave behind their own grieving families whose lives are changed forever. And on the day that Nick met and shook the hand of former President Barack Obama, which I as well have done, I just remember what he said. This is what President Obama said to thousands of Marines and sailors at Camp Lejeune. We were watching it on TV at home. He said, each of you has your own story, and that story is now part of the history of the United States of America. A nation that exists only because free men and women have bled for it, from the beaches of Normandy to the deserts of Anbar, from the mountains of Korea to the streets of Kandahar. You teach us that the price of freedom is great. Your sacrifice should challenge all of us, every single American, to ask what we can do to be better citizens. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for doing what you're doing. You are making us better citizens. You have answered the President's challenge, and you are the reason why we have survived for 8 years. And we know now, with President Donald J. Trump's selection of the Big Three, United States Marine Corps General Joseph Dunford, born and bred in Boston, serves as our chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. United States Marine Corps General John Kelly, my friend, born and bred in Boston, he himself a Gold Star father of a fallen Marine, serves as our Secretary of Homeland Security. And United States Marine Corps General James Mad Dog Mattis, who wears Nick's bracelet, serves as our Secretary of Defense. Our military and our country is and will be stronger and safer than ever.
Hurrah!
And because of your love and support and doing things like this, we have found ways to honor the fallen, giving scholarships to high school kids that are going off to college, helping a family see their loved one when they come home because they can't afford to, keeping a military family healthy by putting them on a horse, or placing a homeless furry animal in the arms of a vet who needs a furry friend. As we ride today, the sounds of your motorcycles are the voices of our fallen. We are all free today because someone like the hundreds of you today who have worn the uniform of the greatest country in the world have fought, bled, or died in our place. And I vow, as long as there is breath in my body, that their sacrifice will not be in vain. Always honor and respect our country and our American flag. Always thank a vet. Always love your family. And keep living the dream, son.
Yeah.